In the movie Resurrection, the main character, Arthur Bishop, strives to lead a tranquil life, attempting to distance himself from his former identity as a lethal assassin. He lives a peaceful life aboard a luxurious yacht in a picturesque seaside tourist haven. Each day, he savors moments of relaxation, sipping his coffee to the tune of his favorite melodies before embarking on a covert mission, placing a bomb on a boat to avoid potential threats. However, Arthur's routine takes an unexpected turn when he revisits a familiar restaurant with a breathtaking ocean view. There, he becomes the focal point of an encounter with a mysterious woman named Renee. Intriguingly, Renee reveals her affiliation with a dangerous employer who demands Arthur's discreet expertise in eliminating 3 adversaries. This situation alarms Arthur, compelling him to contemplate walking away. However, Renee prevents him from doing so by threatening to expose his whereabouts. As tension escalates, Arthur surveys his surroundings, detecting Renee's attempt to photograph him. In a swift move, catching her off guard, he captures an image of Renee instead. The confrontation intensifies as Renee draws a firearm. With quick thinking, Arthur propels a table toward her, momentarily restraining her mobility. In a striking display of powers, he effortlessly dispatches a group of assailants who try to attack him simultaneously. Arthur seizes a fleeting chance for escape, leaping onto the rooftop of a passing cable car. Suddenly, Renee attempts to shoot at him from inside the cable car. She even tries to follow him on the car roof. But then Arthur makes a bold leap onto the rear of a passing hang glider, effectively escaping his pursuer. As night falls, he sees a suspicious man inspecting his boat, triggering him to remotely activate the bomb he had previously installed for emergency purposes. And the expensive yacht explodes. Later on, Arthur proceeds to an aged shipping container, where he conceals an assortment of weaponry and tools, along with counterfeit passports and mobile devices. Gathering some money, he then ventures to a secluded Thai island. There, he reunites with an old friend named May, who lets him stay in an untouched hut from years past. Following his friend's departure, he immediately retrieves the hidden weapons and gadgets from under the wooden floor. Exploring a covert network, Arthur discovers more about Renee, analyzes a previously captured photograph, and unravels her connections to a dangerous criminal named Crane. The following day, a stunning woman named Gina arrives at the beach resort, seeking medical supplies for her bruises. May notices her injuries, but Gina doesn't say a word and then leaves. At night, May hears screams coming from nearby boats and witnesses Gina being violently mistreated by a man called Frank. Concerned for Gina's safety, May rushes to Arthur for help, even though he is reluctant to get involved. Nevertheless, feeling a sense of responsibility towards her, he takes a look at the incident through his binoculars and heads to the boat. Despite his attempts to reason with Frank, the latter tries to use a weapon, leading to a physical altercation. In the end, Frank accidentally hits his head on a metal pole and dies on the spot. When Gina sees the lifeless body, she passes out. May manages to bring her safely to the shore, while Arthur searches the boat. To his surprise, he discovers a gun alongside Gina's passport and a phone that includes a picture of himself. Disturbed by the discovery, Arthur sets the boat on fire and returns to the hut. Afterward, he angrily wakes Gina and, showing her the picture, confronts her about her connection to Crane. But when Arthur points a gun at her, she concedes that she was compelled to work for Crane due to his possession of something of significant importance to her. Afterward, Gina reveals that she had previously run a shelter for victims of human trafficking in Cambodia. Her life had been quite ordinary, filled with pleasant experiences. However, everything took a drastic turn when one of her staff members was killed by Crane's henchmen. Under duress, they forced Gina into accepting a mission in exchange for the safety of the children. The simplicity of her life vanished, replaced by the distressing reality of human trafficking. The next day, Arthur notices a group of men observing the shoreline nearby. He suspects they might have been dispatched by Crane to monitor Gina's activities. In order to mislead them, Arthur takes deliberate actions, such as pretending to be a couple with Gina and engaging in traditional Thai customs. As the evening unfolds, Gina expresses remorse to Arthur for involuntarily involving him in her situation. Simultaneously, Arthur confides in Gina about his own past as an orphan who was sold to a gangster that trained child soldiers. He mentions his close association with Crane during those dark times. Nevertheless, when challenges became tough, Arthur hastily departed, leaving his friend behind. Arthur believes that this act is the driving force behind Crane's pursuit of revenge against him. As they continue to exchange life stories, their connection deepens, ultimately resulting in a strong and profound bond between them. After reassuring Gina regarding her safety, Arthur unveils his strategy to personally eliminate Crane. He entrusts Gina with his father's watch, a cherished memory from his past, and implores her to safeguard it during his absence. However, the plan took a sudden turn when a group of policemen arrived at the beach, and Arthur identified one of them as one of Crane's men. He tried to fight them all but was overpowered by the enemy, resulting in Gina being eventually abducted. Arthur then talks to Crane over the phone and agrees to meet him in person in order to rescue Gina. At this juncture, the adversary presents Arthur with a daunting ultimatum. In order to secure Gina's release, he must carry out 3 assassinations. The first target is Creel. The infamous arms dealer is securely incarcerated in Malaysia, surrounded by stringent security measures. Arthur prepares for his mission by acquiring concealed explosives disguised as chewing gum, sharp repellent, a skin cream container, and a concealed capsule within a cigarette. He also fabricates a counterfeit ID and assumes the identity of a wanted criminal. Subsequently, while traversing the streets of Malaysia, he is apprehended by law enforcement officers and subsequently sent to prison. Within the confines of the Malaysian penitentiary, Arthur gathers intelligence on Creel and learns that his henchmen maintain constant surveillance to safeguard against numerous threats on Creel's life. Displaying ingenuity, Arthur adeptly procures a knife from a fellow inmate during lunchtime and later intervenes when a former henchman makes an attempt on Creel's life, effectively foiling the assassination. Creel, impressed by his actions, extends an invitation for dinner, assuring that his associates will be kept at a distance. Arthur capitalizes on this advantageous situation. Under the pretense of diverting the guards' attention, Arthur eliminates Creel, then urges them not to disturb Creel during his prayer. Subsequently, he triggers the security alarm and employs the concealed explosive gum to create an opening in the prison wall. Additionally, he ingests the tracking pill provided by Crane and utilizes sharp repellent to discreetly plunge into the water, skillfully eluding capture. He regains his freedom and joins Crane's man waiting for him on the fishing boat in the ocean. Later on, Crane provides video proof affirming Gina's safety and subsequently discloses the upcoming target, Adrian Cook, a human trafficker situated in Australia. Alongside this revelation, a demand for a 36-hour window is stipulated for the target's elimination. Wasting no time, Arthur quickly conducts a thorough surveillance operation, uncovering the formidable fortifications surrounding Cook's penthouse. Notably, an exception is the cantilevered pool that extends over the streets. He disguises himself as a wealthy individual and arranges a meeting with the building's real estate agent. Arthur acts interested in purchasing an apartment positioned directly beneath Cook's penthouse. Catching the agents off guard, he covertly duplicates the keys, thereby obtaining access to his intended target. The next day, Arthur disguises himself as a professional technician to embark on his mission. Utilizing the duplicated key, he gains entry into the apartment previously showcased by the real estate agent. Once inside, he skillfully manipulates a glass enclosure and climbs toward the swimming pool. Progressing further, he positions himself beneath the pool, where he drills a hole and installs a specialized explosive device. Meanwhile, Cook undertakes his routine swim, unaware of the impending danger. Noticing Arthur's presence, Cook tries to call for help, but his words are cut short as the glass structure shatters, resulting in his demise. Meanwhile, as he watches the events through a news broadcast, his satisfaction is evident in his smile. Simultaneously, during a video call, Gina employs clever tactics to relay crucial information to Arthur. Positioned near a window, she reveals the number of a nearby boat that can be seen. Capitalizing on this information, Arthur contacts the boat company. Having learned the precise location, he hires the services of a helicopter and makes his way, carrying a bag filled with essential equipment. After a while, Arthur employs stealth tactics as he covertly boards the boat, eliminating the guards one by one. His efforts, however, culminate in his capture during an attempt to rescue Gina. Later on, Crane makes his appearance, cautioning Arthur against any further rescue attempts. The threat of immediate harm befalls Gina should Arthur persist. Then, Arthur is assigned to his final target, Max Adams, an American arms dealer with a heavily guarded stronghold. Through a thorough investigation, Arthur unveils Crane's sinister strategy, employing these targeted eliminations to eliminate his rivals within the arms trade. This revelation prompts Arthur to grapple with uncertainties about the nature of his mission. Nonetheless, Arthur proceeds with his plan, he shoots one of Adam's guards from a distance, and then strategically boards a helicopter to gain access to the heavily guarded fortress. Once inside, employing a jamming device, Arthur neutralizes security cameras and carefully eliminates the guards. While the building's security measures are heightened, Adams is directed towards his panic room, yet Arthur delays them by orchestrating elevator malfunctions. Unexpectedly, upon Adams' arrival at his room, Arthur initiates a proposition, an alliance aimed at toppling Crane. Arthur successfully persuades Adams to align with his cause and plan for Crane's death. Later, Adams is set to inspect his submarines, when an explosion disrupts the proceedings, forcing the two to fall deep into the water. Thankfully, Arthur is prepared underwater and rescues Adams from danger. Sharing an oxygen tank, he succeeds in swimming away as they reach the nearest shoreline. Meanwhile, Crane witnesses the unfolding events through a television broadcast, with news outlets reporting that Adams has been submerged underwater as a result of the detonation. In the aftermath, Arthur establishes contact with Crane via telephone, boldly proclaiming responsibility for the third targeted elimination. However, Crane remains doubtful and insists on creating proof of Adams' death. Specifically, he demands visual confirmation of the deceased target's body. Arthur counters this challenge by compelling Crane to venture to Adams' submarine, where he asserts that the body can be found. Eager to substantiate the kill, Crane directs his operatives to locate Adams' lifeless body, while also issuing a directive to eliminate Arthur once and for all. Arthur arranges an array of deadly traps and takes down Crane's henchmen, one after another, falling victim to Arthur's stealthy tactics. As time unfolds, Crane becomes increasingly aware of the potent threat that Arthur poses to his plan. Faced with the realization that he himself is the next target, Crane resorts to using Gina as bait, positioning her on the boat to lure Arthur into his trap. Submerged underwater, Arthur spots Gina standing near the helipad, and his response is swift. Launching a ruthless assault on Crane's enforcers, he systematically eliminates each one. Gina joins in an attempt to aid Arthur but sustains injuries during the fray. Recognizing the danger she's in, Arthur secures her in an emergency refuge, ensuring her safety. With Crane's henchmen defeated, a final brutal showdown unfolds with Crane, characterized by fierce hand-to-hand combat. As the confrontation escalates, Crane senses defeat and triggers a bomb aboard the boat. However, Arthur seizes the upper hand, leveraging his quick thinking to immobilize Crane by binding him to the vessel using an anchor chain. Moments later, the boat erupts in a cataclysmic explosion, seemingly claiming both their lives. From a distance, Gina watches in despair, convinced that Arthur has sacrificed himself to take down Crane. Consumed by heartbreak, she retreats to Cambodia accompanied by the children under her care, seeking refuge in her humanitarian endeavors. As time passes, turning days into months, Gina remains saddened by the incident. One morning, Arthur suddenly reappears, catching Gina by surprise. Meanwhile, Adams takes it upon himself to investigate the wreckage of Crane's ill-fated boat. His discovery of video evidence depicting a diving bell, a chamber containing a pocket of air, reveals the ingenious mechanism that enabled Arthur to survive the explosion. Impressed by Arthur's remarkable resourcefulness, Adams makes a momentous decision. He deletes any traces of security that could compromise Arthur's future. In the end, with the secret of Arthur's survival tightly held, he and Gina finally break free from Crane's grip and embark on a new chapter in their lives that brims with optimism, hope, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Their reunion marks a profound love and resolute determination.